and derail in that. So you guys give it up for my best friend, Justin Setzler.
I love y'all too. I've been loving this weather lately. I'll tell y'all a story tonight, if that's alright with y'all. Alright? Story time. This comes from John 4. Some of y'all may have heard this story, some might not have. But just listen. I want y'all to listen to it. I'm going to preface it by saying Jesus is traveling. I don't know how far he had to go. Pretty good ways though. Enough to where we get thirsty out of that. But he travels through an area called Samaria. And there's people there called Samaritans. And where Jesus was from, those people didn't like the Samaritans. They didn't like each other. And so the place where Jesus was from, those people, they would never go through Samaria to get where they were going. He had to get on the other side. And he just goes right through it because he's Jesus. And for whatever reasons that other people didn't go through there, they don't apply to him. Alright, so you got Jesus on this trip, going through Samaria, stops at a place called Sychar. There's a well there. He's thirsty. So he goes and sits by it. He doesn't have anything to draw water from with. There's a woman that comes, it's about noon. And a woman comes. And she comes to draw water. Well, this is bizarre because most of the time it's hot there. Most of the time women would draw water in the mornings or in the evenings when it cooled off. They would come in groups, you know, for safety, kind of like we do today. This woman was by herself, so this is odd. She goes to go draw water, and he asks her, he says, "Woman, may I have a drink?" Well, this is odd because first off, from where he was from, those people don't talk to those people. You know what I'm saying? They hated each other. Bloods, Crips, they don't like each other. They ain't gonna be talking to nobody. They ain't gonna be talking to each other. Alright? So that's one thing that's odd. Second thing that's odd is men did not talk to women in public. They did not openly talk to women in public. So for him just to talk to that woman and say, for just to even notice her and say, "Woman, would you give me a drink?" was odd. And thirdly, this woman, well, I said that she came at noon, not with anybody else, and when nobody else is going to be around. Why do you think she did that? Because I'll tell you why. She had a bad reputation, okay? People probably picked on her. The other women that came to draw water, they didn't probably want to have nothing to do with her. She was an outcast. People, you know, somebody that people despised. And I don't know if you can relate to that, but that was her. And so, surely nobody's going to be talking to her, right? Jesus did. All right? So let me go ahead and read. In a small Samaritan town known as Sychar, Jesus and his entourage stopped to rest at this historic well. It was about noon when Jesus found a spot to sit close to the well. He watched as a Samaritan woman approached to draw some water. And unexpectedly he spoke to her. "Would you draw water and give me a drink?" The woman said, "I cannot believe that you, from where you're from, would associate with me from where I'm from. We hate each other," which they didn't say that, but much less ask me for a drink. Alright? So ask me for a drink. I ain't gonna be wanting to, you know, people, if they hate each other, they definitely ain't gonna be wanting to drink after each other. Alright? So I'm gonna stop right there. So I'm gonna keep going. Keep going because I've already talked about that. Here's what Jesus says. "You don't know the gift of God or who is asking you for a drink of this water. Because if you did, you would have asked me for something greater. I would have given you living water." What's living water? Alright, so here's what the woman says. It's got Miracle Grow in it. Here's what the woman says. Sir, you sit by this deep well, a thirsty man without a bucket in sight. Where does this living water come from? So he says, I'm going to give you, if you'd ask me, I'd give you living water. And she's like, how are you going to give me living water? You ain't even got a bucket to draw from this well right here. Alright? Are you claiming superiority to our father Jacob, who labored long and hard to dig this well and maintain it so that we could share clean water with everybody? And Jesus said, if you drink this water right here and your thirst is quenched, it's only for a moment. You must return to this well again and again. But I offer water that will become a wellspring within you that gives life throughout eternity. You will never be thirsty again. And the woman says, please, sir, give me some of this water. It's like, this sounds pretty good. That way I'll never be thirsty and never again have to make a trip to this well. Well, Jesus was realizing she didn't understand what he was talking about. Because she was like, well, if you give me some of this water, I'm not going to have to make a trip to this well anymore. I want to mention a couple things about that. Jesus wanted her to understand what he was talking about. He didn't just be like, well, you don't understand what I'm talking about? Peace. He didn't say that. So he goes on a deeper personal level. He says, woman, I know who you are. Okay? And he asks her a question. He's like, bring your husband here. And she's like, I don't have a husband. And Jesus was like, well, technically you're telling the truth. But you've had 5 husbands. And the man you're living with now is not your husband. Alright, so maybe that's where she got that reputation from. Alright, living in sin like that. Maybe that's why everybody looked and judged her. It was like, you suck. I don't want nothing to do with you. You're an outcast. You're bad. I'm better than you. Get on somewhere, right? That's what everybody else was saying. Was Jesus saying that? Nah. Nope. He wanted her to understand, and so he went on that deeper personal level, and he was like, I saw a little insight on this. A dude, is Mark Hall from Casting Crowns, had made mention about this story, and he said, here's the thing that Jesus made her understand, was this, that this is not a story about a woman standing by a well talking to a man. It's not about that. This is about a story of a woman standing beside a hole in the ground and talking to the well. You understand what I'm saying? She's talking to the well. Alright? And here's what I want to direct this towards y'all. We're all thirsty, physically. Like, my mouth's pretty dry right now. I could use a drink of water, physically. Alright? But spiritually, I'm thirsty as well. And each and every one of you in here is thirsty too. And you have a choice. We can draw from that hole in the ground and continue to draw, and then continue to draw some more. Or we can choose the well that gives water that quenches forever, so that you won't have to be thirsty anymore. And look here. We have all kinds of examples of these holes in the ground, like I'm talking about, our wells that we go draw from that don't quench our thirst. Relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend, things we put trust in that we think are going to satisfy our spiritual thirst. Money, friends, sports, that we think are going to be the key to getting us through life, the key to happiness, key to fulfillment. It's going to quench our soul. Some other things. Sex. Pornography. What else? Yeah. Money? Get a job, band, chorus, whatever. Making good grades, thinking I'm going to go to the right school, get a good job, be successful. That's what I want to leave y'all with, is this. That those things we go to quench our thirst are just going to make us thirsty again. I mean, y'all can probably relate to what I'm talking about. I can relate to what I'm talking about. You will never be thirsty if you give Jesus a try. That's what I'm going to leave y'all with. Appreciate y'all listening. Thank y'all for letting me talk. You know why the leaders are here? Because they love y'all. They want to talk with y'all. So yeah, grab a leader. Talk. If you got any questions, that's why we're here. And we'll be heading to McDonald's. So come on to McDonald's.